They might have shared it with me before. It seems a little familiar now that I'm talking about it more with them. But I don't know. It seems like a sum up. Oh man, let's see. How can I say all this? It's like I'm a host and I have to experience certain things that they didn't experience, or they did experience but they didn't understand. They didn't understand how it worked. And so it's like I have to transmute it for them, and then it's helping those lost souls. It's wild. So let me just use one. They're showing like my ancestors. They're showing like even my dogs. And remember I kept getting that for the longest time, and then they would thank me. It was like all this stuff. But I guess they have shown me other angles and other people, how they verbalize things. And it spooks me out until I can make straight of it. It really does. And because you can see like the same thing I'm saying in different angles, and depending on what you're comfortable with and what you're not, it's like saying the same thing but in all the different languages. You say it in your language, it totally makes sense. You're comfortable with it, you're familiar with it, you understand it. Say the same thing in different verbiage that you're not familiar with, it gets spooky. To me, right? Like I could be saying angels, but you call them demons, and other people call them entities, and some people call them deities, and some people, it's like, oh my God. But hearing it in the different things, well, those different words mean different things to me, even though you meant the same thing I meant when I said an angel. I didn't know that. In my language, that was what I meant. In your language, you meant the same thing, but you call it something else. And that other word you use, I think of spooky or scary or this or that. Did you hear that? I hope so. So anyway, they had me watching stuff recently, and it really had me stuck for a little bit because it upset me and I didn't like it. And it sounded very, it's like what I would think of as like evil or bad witchcraft or like just any kind of, like, again, forgive me, I am very ignorant to what that means, witchcraft and black magic and spells, like, because it's spooky to me or eerie or wrong, again, in my imagery of whatever. But then when I have broken it down in the past, I'm like, do they just mean like when you're talking to somebody, you can be casting a spell on them if your intentions are poor, right? Like that's witchcraft. If you're lying about them, if you're gossiping about them, if you're talking behind their back, that's witchcraft. That's casting spells. It's just, we don't speak like that, do we? We say, no, they're gossiping, they're lying, they're talking behind your back, they're stabbing you in the back. It's still awful. It still sounds terrible. But for some reason, it doesn't sound as scary or as horrific as witchcraft or black magic. And yet it is. It's the exact same thing, I think. I mean, I think there's degrees to all these things. I think there is like, oh, God. Nonetheless, I was listening to somebody who experienced a lot of things and was in a lot of different religions and joined all these different clubs and organizations and rankings, and it freaked me out. It's like, I don't want to hear any of that stuff. It sounds so cultish and wackadoodle, but it was talking about mainstream religions and mainstream groups. Like if I said all the names of the religions and groups, you'd be like, oh yeah, and I'm fully aware they're not talking about anything that isn't widely known. But it's not widely known what he was talking about. Nonetheless. As I was listening to the verbiage and his explanation and how he was labeling everything and his experience, it started to freak me out because it's some of the experiences I have had, but I wouldn't have called it or labeled it or spoken about it in such a manner or such a way. So it really had me halt, like really take a step back and look at things, and freaked me out. And so nonetheless, it's taken me actually quite a few days to get myself back up right again, and talking to them and figuring it out and working it out and trying to translate it, understand it. And I'm still getting there, but one of the things they had shown me was this idea. So I'm trying to get back to it. I'm just thinking, God, these side stories. It's like, this was me and my father all the time. I was like, what the fuck were we talking about? Who the fuck knows? Where did we start off? What was the point? Anyway, it was like I'm a host, right? It's like that's what it feels like sometimes when they'll have to, like my answers had to come through. And so the way they were just showing it, it was like God was showing me like, yes, but you helped release your mother. You helped release your father. They didn't see it or understand it that way. Their intentions weren't bad, but they didn't see it or understand it, right? Like they didn't realize by being that people pleaser, they were disrespecting and dishonoring themselves and the God within them. And so they were setting a really poor example of to put themselves on the back burner, to not honor themselves, like these different things. And so it's like I had experienced some stuff and see where I was taking on that lack myself, that lack of love for myself, and starting to vibrate there. And it was like they had these different energies come through, and it was alluding to they were relatives, but some I had never, ever met, right? And I just happened to be doing a lot of ancestry work around that time when more and more were coming through. And so they would show me numbers that happened to match up with some of the ancestry dates. So I was able to go back and constantly reference and look up and find and try to figure out who was coming through. And again, not that I know for sure, but that was certainly what it was leading me to. And what I'm trying to boil it down to is when I was talking with God about it again, it was like, oh, if I'm doing it for God, like bringing his souls back to him, to unconditional love, to the highest vibration, it's like having them see, feel, understand so that they fully love and accept themselves so they can get back to themselves. I'm happy to do that, right? Like, so the point is prior to that, I was really upset and like I didn't want to engage with any of the energies coming in because I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Is this, am I misunderstanding? And so again, it was like God had to keep walking me through it to teach me and to show me again. And there is all the different vibrations, and there is bad in everything, right? There are people who probably do what I'm doing naturally as well, but they probably understand it better. And unfortunately, I think that is what happens is sometimes when we understand it to such a degree, sometimes people end up misusing that power, which I am not interested in doing at all. It's like I got enough of my own shit and enough of the stuff I'm trying to help others with that come through this way. I don't need to take on, do you see what I'm saying? Like, please. And so when he was showing me that it's like I have no expectations, I have no like whatever, like I just want to be fully back to myself, right? Like, they're saying don't just say just. No, I know. You know what I mean though. Like, if it's for love, if it's for unconditional love, that idea is beautiful to me then, right? Like, allowing a soul to rest, right? Like a soul on the other side that can't rest because it still has an agitation vibration, right? Like it doesn't have the full unconditional love vibration because it didn't see before it passed. It didn't understand before it passed. It was in such pain. And so it's like you want to whoosh back in to unconditional love, but there's all types of energies all around you at all the different vibrations that are unseen to you. And those are souls. And so it is kind of like they're screaming for help. But you have to be at a vibration of unconditional love in order to help them, right? Like you if you can't see it from a higher vantage point, although there's so many layers on the vibrational scale, it's wild. And so, I mean, I guess technically, if you're in anger and that person's in depression, you can pull them up to anger. But then they have to go find another bodysuit to bring them up, to bring them up, to bring them up. Do you see what I'm saying? And so it just seems like the long way around. But I suppose that's what's happening all the time, because depending on whatever vibration you're at, if you're not fully at unconditional love for yourself and working on that every day and sealing up those leaks and tears in your aura and all your bodies and all your fields, then you are emitting and vibrating at less than that. And that's the energy that you're attracting in. So we can say this in many different ways, right? Because it's still the same rule. I'm just suggesting what I do with that. And people could say the same thing, like then I'm transmuting that energy for myself, for them, for, whatever it is. But if you're doing it from a space of unconditional love, if you can float up to see it from the higher vantage point, it is healing for you and that energy. It's releasing that energy as well. It's setting that energy free. If they too can see, right? Like if they too can heal from that. Or at least, again, this is what all they show me and how I'm translating. Doesn't mean I'm right at all. But I don't know if you recall the one vision that came through years ago when I didn't realize that I was helping my mother, and I didn't realize I was experiencing what I was experiencing and going through what I was going through for my mother. Like I was so out of my mind and doing and saying things that were so out of character for me, behaving in ways that repulsed me, to be honest with you, and very much upset me. And I couldn't understand what was happening. I really couldn't. It was like I would come to and like cry about it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? What is happening? And it was like I had then finally, quote, passed a test. Again, not even aware of some of this. Because it's like you don't know until you're through it, which is, I guess, the ultimate test, because you're going in blindly. It's like you don't even know what's happening, so you have to be true and pure. And then you pass it, and you're like, past what? What the fuck? What happened? Right? But so then they had shown me, it was like my mother had pinged off and was like shooting around in the stars. She was so excited to be set free, right? So it was that idea of like she was trapped because it was like nobody, it was like could fully hear her or understand or release her. It was kind of like, it was like I had to pass the test for her. But again, I could have been hosting her, which was causing me, but I had to, it was like teach her, right? It was like my higher self had to heal her wound. We could say this so many different ways. And again, you probably could hear all of this, and depending on the field of study of interest to you, could probably understand it and relate it into different terminology that would make more sense to you and possibly to me. And the way they show it to me, I could make sense on it on actually quite a few different levels and see the same instance from many different angles, where it could be an ancestral line or a quote curse passed down, or all these different things. But the way I see it, feel it, hear it, understand it, am shown things. It's interesting because on one hand, it is helping my mind because it's how my mind works in imagery and understanding. And at the same time, it can be challenging to decipher and decode and to fully understand. It's quite a process. There's so much to even unravel and unpack. The whole point of this was more along the lines of it. Really, they helped me, of course, they helped me float up to unconditional love for myself again. Oh, that's what you were trying to show me. Sorry, I just heard it. So I had dropped when I had watched that person because it did add fear and fright and upset into me. And I was having a hard time. Well, that's what they're showing me right here, right now. I was having a hard time because I wasn't able to float back up to unconditional love to hear it and see it clearly. And so they had been working with me the past few days to rise me back up so that I could see it from the higher vantage point, so that I could understand. Oh, what are you going to do with me? It takes me some time. It takes me some time sometimes. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.